Welcome to Real Issue Podcast. I'm your host, Martel Llewellyn. Guys, if you are a Miami Heat fan, continue to like, share, comment, subscribe. Thank you for all the support. If you're an NBA fan, subscribe to the channel. And thank you for all the support. So tomorrow is a playing tournament with the Miami Heat versus the Atlanta Hawks. I will say the Miami Heat just have to be consistent. I will say that was one of their biggest flaws this season. They were very inconsistent. Sometimes it looks like they really didn't want it. Sometimes it looks like they didn't even want to be playing together or playing basketball, period. So let's start off with Jimmy Butler. We all know that Jimmy Butler's going to do his thing. We all know that he's in Trae Young's head. Ever since last season in that playoff run, they pretty much showed Trae Young that, listen, we're going to bully you. We're going to be very physical with you. We're going to trap you. We're going to make sure that our point of attack defense does not make you even put up a reasonable shot. Every single shot that you're going to put up, you're going to have to put up with distress. You're going to have to put up with the double team in front of you. So they've done a pretty good job pretty much controlling Trae Young. I will say now it really comes down to Murray, guys like John Collins, Capella. I think that they have a very good team. I think that they have a very underrated team. I just think that they can't really get their team to go in the right direction. I think that Trae Young doesn't really play basketball the right way with all those long 3-point shootings and just jacking up shots and just I know that he was really high like with the assists this season, but I just think that something has to be done with that team because their chemistry looks a little bit off. Sometimes they look like they're one of the best teams in the NBA, and then they look like they're one of the worst teams in the NBA, especially defensively. Now with Bam Adebayo, it's time for him to once again. This is the year where Bam Adebayo and Tyler Hero they're going to be watched very heavily because we all know that Jimmy Butler's going to do his thing, but Bam Adebayo he also has to start putting in that work as well. Start helping Jimmy Butler because he ripped his jersey last season and he said he was very disappointed about how things turned out. Well, listen, now it's time to redeem yourself. You were an all-star this year. He's had a few 30-point games, a few 25-point games. I think that he's had a great season. I know that ever since All-Star break, he hasn't played that well, but it comes to find out that he has a hip injury. I know that they're going to have a few days of rest even after they beat the Hawks, but it's really time to put in that work, man. It's time to close it out. It's time for you to give us that 20 and 10. It's time for us to, see all that defense that everyone loves to talk about. It's time to see that offensive production. It's just really time to close things out. Same thing with Tyler Hero. I know that, teams like to trap him, get really physical with him and also put length on him, but it's really time for him to beat those narratives. It's time to see him, not always rely on the screen. Who knows if that's really possible? I think that's something that he's going to have to work on his game, especially during this offseason coming. He's going to have to work on really trying to create off the dribble without a screen, really try to create his own shot, really, still continue to sharpen up on his craft, continue to hit the weights, get stronger, get bigger, and do all those things. But it's really going to be time for Bam Adebayo and Tyler Hero, especially if Tyler Hero wants to be on this team going forward. This is something that everyone's going to be looking at. Can these two help Jimmy Butler? Can these two, really put in the offensive production to get this Miami Heat team over the top? Because when this offense gets stagnant, we're not looking at Jimmy Butler all the time. We're really going to be pointing the fingers at Bam Adebayo and Tyler Hero. Remember, Tyler Hero is the one that said he's Luka, Trae, and Ja. He wants to be in that same conversation as them. Bam Adebayo says that he wants to be one of the best Miami Heat players, along with Dwayne Wade, Udonis Haslem. So if we're gonna continue to push these guys and put them in these narratives, they got to put in that work. They're both getting all the money. It's time to put in that work. So once again, I think that the Miami Heat can beat the Hawks. They've pretty much done it all season. I think that they've only lost one game to Atlanta, and that was, I think on Martin Luther King Day or something like that. But other than that, like I said, they can do it. They just have to be consistent, play great defense. They can't come out slow. They can't let the Hawks get 40 points in the first quarter or something crazy like that. They really have to lock in, which I think that Eric Spoelstra does a great job of having these guys lock in. And once again, guys like Gabe Vincent, Max Strus, maybe even Duncan Robinson. We'll see. Victor Oladipo. Those guys really got to lock in. They got to make their shots. They got to be, at least decent role players, help Jimmy Butler out because Jimmy Butler can't carry it all, especially going into this Boston series. He cannot do it all. But let me know what you guys think in the comments about this play-in tournament. Like, share, comment, subscribe as we continue to push to 2,000 subscribers.